the Exercise Science and Culture Show. This is episode 7. Today I want to talk to you about balanced body cross training. First, though, if you please, I want this to start a discussion. So comment on this video, ask questions, make comments, and also if you like the video, then give me a like, please. So I want you to let's take a moment. I want you to take a moment to think about your lifestyle around physical activity. How would you summarize in a few words what you generally do for exercise? Maybe you'd say not physically active. You could say laborious job. You could say laborious job plus running. You could say desk job plus yoga and housework. You could say swimming and weights. You could say Zumba, hiking, and paddleboarding. You could say powerlifting. You could say sports. You could say basketball, squash, and CrossFit. There are endless possibilities. Some people will list cross training as their style, and I am one of those people. So in my 11 years of coaching, I've tried a lot of different approaches. I struggled to define my style. I have struggled to define my style. Until 2 years ago, I took over a class that was previously run by Mike Prue. The class was called Cross Training. Though what they were doing and how they were doing it in class, I thought was great, I actually didn't like the name. And I didn't like it because I associated it with what others were doing in practice and calling cross training that I did not endorse. But eventually I saw that despite how some people were practicing under that name, cross training, as I define it, is an ingeniously simple way to describe what he was doing, and it also defined what I was doing and what I wanted to do. So what is cross training? Over this episode, I'm going to touch on some of the common misconceptions and the interpretations, perceptions, and practices around cross training. But basically, to me, it means regularly taking part in 2 or more exercise training disciplines or physical activities at the same time. So in some sense, everybody cross trains, whether or not we're aware of it. If your physical activities consist of cleaning your house, cooking, and walking several miles per week, then you are, by this definition, cross-training. But to be truly training, there needs to be the intent to make progress. You must consciously want to get better at, or at least maintain your ability in those activities. Training requires planning, long-term planning, and preparation. That's the difference between training and exercise. So now let's discuss the balanced body bit. What do I mean by balanced body? I'm referring to symmetry in all planes, balanced posture for proportional joint loading, efficient, fluid, graceful movement, and pain-free movement. So whatever we choose to incorporate into the training, these activities will aim to achieve the balanced body. So at the heart of my training philosophy, I believe that having the intent to cross-train plus the intent to achieve a balanced body will bring the greatest general health results. And when I say health, I'm talking holistically, mentally, physically, emotionally. Balanced body cross-training can be fun, interesting, challenging, interactive, dynamic, flexible, balanced, safe, effective, efficient time and cost-wise, applicable, and it can be rewarding. Now to delve a little deeper into what balanced body cross-training looks like, there are a couple of pillars of exercise science that should be considered. These relate to having a plan, executing the plan with a particular mindset. This is the essence of balanced body cross training. The first pillar has to do with chunking. Okay, motor learning theory has it that progress comes from repeated exposure to a particular stimulus. Think about the stimulus as a particular exercise or activity. So this suggests that in order to get better at something, we have to practice it consistently. It suggests, for instance, that we will be better by practicing something twice a week for 12 weeks, as opposed to doing it 24 random times in a year. Notice that I picked 12 weeks. I did so for a reason, and that's why it's the 12-week challenge that I'm facilitating. I'm doing something in at least, I think that doing something in 12-week chunks, or maybe it's 4 weeks, or maybe it's 6 weeks, up to 12-week chunks, based on this principle, that makes more sense than having no plan and doing something randomly. So though we are taking part in a multidisciplinary approach to exercise with cross-training, we will still have organization and planning in what we do and when we do it. So cross-training tends to get interpreted along the lines of the P90X philosophy. Remember P90X? They really popularized the idea of muscle confusion. And CrossFit philosophy involves constant variation. And look, for some people, this is enjoyable and motivating, which is awesome, and I won't dispute that. But I will say that if you want the best results, then plan on chunking your training. At the end of 12 weeks, or however long you plan to do something, you can reassess, and then you can choose to keep doing it. Maybe you want to change the intensity or duration of it a little bit. I would recommend that. Or you may want to shift to a related activity, or you may want to switch to a completely different activity. And you can always come back to that activity. So the second pillar is optimizing body mechanics. Everybody's body is different. The name of the game is to choose exercises that will work well for your body. Activities and exercises that load your body in a balanced fashion will be the most beneficial, hence the balanced body. This is a mindset as much as a physical thing. You must have the intent to optimize your body mechanics and strive for a balanced body. So despite our individual bodily differences and the differences in our preferred activities, there are some commonalities in the way that our bodies are designed to move and some common faults that we tend to experience. For more information on this, you need to go back to the previous episodes where I talk about posture. I think I talked a lot about that in episode 4 or 5. So, but also you need to read the materials in the 12-week challenge. And you can also watch my exercise demonstration videos here on YouTube. I talk all about every exercise that I can think of and how to execute that with proper body mechanics in mind. So one more important pillar of balanced body cross training is in balancing bodily load with different activities. So some activities load the body in an imbalanced manner. For instance, as a farmer, I'm bent over a lot. I do a lot of squatting. I do a lot of crawling. It's usually 8 hours of continuous but low to moderate intensity exercise. In order to balance that out, I choose exercises when I go to the gym that complement this. I do hip opening exercises. I do a lot of upper body resistance, and I love to play basketball. And this is balancing me out because it's reactive unlike what I'm doing on the farm. And I generally will choose higher intensity but lower duration activities. I don't need to do a long cardio bout because I just did, a long day's work. I try to make it shorter and more intense. To give another example, I know some of you are runners. If you choose an activity or some movements that complement this, yoga and Pilates come to mind, but strength training, soft tissue release, and other cardiovascular activities like rowing, swimming, and biking, these are great complements to running. So, just think about the biggest issues that you would face, and take runners again for an example. Think about the biggest issues that runners will face. It's usually to do with their feet and their lower leg. Maybe it's their knee or their hips. So choosing targeted therapeutic exercises and exercises that will still stimulate your body without adding more stress on the vulnerable areas, like in this case, your feet and your lower legs, this will allow you to continue to progress, keep progressing, keep you healthier, and keep you running pain-free for longer. Another example, if you're a CrossFitter, think for a moment about the nature of this sport. It's quite a bit more of a multimodal sport than running is, but still, there's some tendencies here. It's most commonly a frontal plane movement, straight up and down. It's mostly eccentric, concentric, a lot of overhead movements. It's high intensity aerobics. It's heavy resistance, and it's high volume. So to complement this, you can add sagittal and transverse motions, linear and lateral or diagonal movements. You can add isometric movements. And these all can be done at a lower intensity, lower resistance, and lower volume. Okay? So maybe you get the drift. And I would love to talk more about your particular case, so you can message me and we can think through it together. So in closing, well, first let me holler at my people: Rick Mercurio, Sydney, Savannah Keith, Aaron Brown, Jeff Galuza, Jeffrey Proctor, and Georgie Yummy Chin. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for watching, everybody. Share this video, please. Share this video, like it. What's up, Andrew? Andrew just joined me. Okay, so in closing, I love the idea of balanced body cross training. This is about having an exercise plan that combines 2 or more types of physical activity, doing these consistently for a set period of time, doing these activities with the goal of having strong body mechanics, and choosing physical activities that complement each other. So I have a number of complete balanced body cross-training exercise programs up on YouTube. You can check these out for ideas for how to put this all together. And you can also message me and I can help you. I can help you find one that will work for you, given your goals and given any limitations you may have. But do please engage me on this. I would really appreciate some feedback, and I would love to be a part of your fitness journey. So hit me up. Okay. Until next time, everybody, may peace be upon you. Have a great day.